Alright, here we go. So I was looking online and I've been thinking about reform, political reform. And I was reading some blogs, including one on The Atlantic. You can find it if you go to theatlantic.com and then go to politics, or if you search reform is not enough, you'll find it. It's reform is not enough. The federal government needs a complete makeover. But that and a few other blogs I've been looking at, and they're pretty interesting. That wasn't a pick, that was a scratch. But I was thinking a lot about it because, you know, it's like, if you look at the system and you look at trying to reform the actual system, and that's what this is talking about, it seems impossible. It seems impossible to get anything done because you have two sides who just have their own interests and have to compete. They're forced to compete against each other. So instead of, even if they have good intentions, they're never going to get them done because they have their own best interests, like we all do, at heart. And they have to compete with this other side. You know what I mean? The left has to compete with the right. Whatever. The middle has to compete with both. You know, it's a competition more than it is progression. It's not like, you know, they are going to stop having in the back of their head that their career depends on beating this other side and winning the competition. But I think the biggest thing is that, as huge as it is and the huge competition that it's become, and the huge clusterfuck that it's become, where, you know, everything is about gaining something else before you can do anything political. You know, it's all about gain. None of it is about progression of society. So the reason it's like that, I think mainly, is the same reason why corporations are so powerful and so big. You know, it's the same thing. We, as people, allowed them to get that big. We literally and figuratively bought in to everything that they sold us. 20 brands of televisions, you know, 50 brands of phones. You know, look at how much stuff is out there. It's only out there because there was demand. It's only out there because we couldn't say one is enough. We couldn't say two is enough. We couldn't say a regular TV was good enough. It had to be a 70-inch plasma, and that isn't good enough, and that will go bigger, and that will become something else. Consumerism is America's biggest problem. It isn't political bullshit, you know, with giant government, giant corporations that only have their best interest at heart. I know we want to say that there's a problem, but they're the problem because we let them be the problem. If we really wanted to change this country, this guy is right. It's true. It would be a pain in the ass for even a okay portion of us, you know, even for 20% of Americans to fight the system, as long as the other 80% is buying into it. The way to really fight it is for all of us to just stop buying in to whatever they're selling. If the government sells you, hey, we just passed this bill without telling you, you don't buy into it. You stop what you're doing, you call your representative, you call the White House, you email, and you don't stop until they realize you aren't buying into this. If the corporations are selling, you know, $1 billion corporation is selling more crap that you don't need while you're getting poor and it's getting richer, don't buy into it. Stop buying the crap that they're selling. That's how we could very easily change the system, because they're only as big as we let them be. So I just kind of was thinking about that, and I'll include the link, if I can, to this blog that I was reading. Alright,